Darkest woods and the fields of gold where the bards have sung Arrendor is on the brink of upheaval. For centuries, the clan struggled against giants until 400 years ago, when dragons crossed the Great Sea, forcing them to unite and build the 10 Bastions. As the threat faded, the clans fractured into the 10 Kingdoms, and all but the last Bastion were abandoned. As ancient calamities stir and darkness rises in the east, my 4 champions must rise up to unite the kingdoms, restore the Bastions, uncover their secrets, and stand against this darkness as a declaration of war.
Calagon Dör. I will discover the secrets of my lineage and cement my legacy as one of the greatest adventurers of all time.
Cleave still in here. The migration of the dragons forced the migration of peoples and beasts, which brings death. We're all invasive species now. I won't let us become extinct ones.
The name's Rodrick Elwood, the voice of this generation, and the greatest performer in the world. Oh, and you should see me with a bow.
And I, Arlyn Dursalai, searching for my father's sword, Trident, to bring justice to these lands. Together, we are the 4 Horsemen.
And this is Divine Inspiration.
Welcome back for another exciting week, you beautiful people.
How you doing, people?
Well, hopefully you guys have all had a great week. It has been wild over here, but I am so excited to get started right back into the grandest of adventures. And as always, we clearly acknowledge that all that we do is done in love and towards God in community with you all, and so we are excited to share with you, of course, the tales of the 4 Horsemen as told by Divine Inspiration. So, that being said, gather around, get cozy, and enjoy as we pick back up with the 4 Horsemen, or I should say, at this time, technically speaking, the 3 Horsemen, having followed through the ziggurat successfully and made it to the lower levels, where Calagon, Cleave, and Rodrick have now experienced overcoming these elemental trials and getting to now bypass these machinations, these powers that would otherwise kill mortal men, and instead they've grown them into their strengths as they take on an elemental unlike anything that they've ever heard of, one that transforms, that it shapeshifts before their very eyes and takes on each of these elements that each of them is able to uniquely combat. And so, with 3 separate masks of ether, water, and fire now at their disposal as each of them is fully equipped, the 3 out of 4 Horsemen have successfully taken on one of the 4 forms of this transformation elemental. Now, with that being said, we were in the middle of combat last week, so we're going to be picking right back up, straight into the hot seat with the final person in initiative, which just after the elemental comes the terrifying new fire-wreathed Rodrick Elwood. So, David, what would you like to do for your turn?
Well,
as this thing barrels towards you down this hall.
Okay, so I had prepared a bonus action to give him the potion of health.
Beautiful.
So
okay.
My bonus action will be giving Calagon the potion of health.
Is that to feed it to him or just to hand it to him?
If I can feed it to him using a bonus action, I'll do that. Are you willing?
I would say that it can be sloppily done between the 2 of you guys, if you guys are working together towards this goal.
If you cost both their bonus actions, you're saying?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I would say, like, typically, it would be a bonus action to take one in full for yourself, an action to take one in part, or an action to feed it to another. You guys could alternatively each take your bonus actions to kind of hand off and take a small portion of your time to do so, if you'd like.
Yes.
Since we did talk the prep work beforehand.
Yes, please.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And we will
Easy
do that.
enough.
And I will take this away. Bye-bye, potion of healing. You've been good to me.
How many points is that?
So the potion of healing is 2d4 plus 2.
Fantastic.
2d4 plus 2.
It's not the worst.
And don't forget, Calagon, you will take an additional point of temporary HP back at the start of your turn from being on top of your portal.
Yes.
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That helps out a lot.
Perfect. And then what I will do to it... Quick question. Is there any way to move around it out to the hallway?
Definitely not that you can see currently.
What form is it in right now again?
Ooh, I didn't check back immediately, but
Do you know you just saw it?
unless anybody else remembers exactly,
It
I have a
was
guess.
in rock when I couldn't lift it on my last turn.
That's
know
what I
that
thought.
On my
Okay.
last turn. I don't know if it changes from
Yeah.
each of our turns
Um,
or each of its turns.
oh man.
I was the turn before Calagon. I know that. And then
Yeah.
it was rock during
Unless
my turn. I know
Calagon
that.
was able to deal it damage, it would have still been Earth form.
I
But
believe it's still Earth. Yeah, because I think I ran back.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I
think I
figured.
attacked.
Okay, sweet. Then yeah, Earth it is. Because that is what I have up top right now, but I just didn't know if I hadn't updated it. So, alright, it is in Earth form currently.
In Earth form. Okay, then I will take out my Lash of Immolation.
Okay.
Do you do a dab every time you take that out too? Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And I will attack. It's cocked. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah, it's cocked. What you got? Reroll it if it's cocked at all.
Okay.
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly. It's just so frustrating because
Yeah.
it's either like mid or like really good.
Yeah.
So. That's good enough. 18.
Yeah, 18 hits for sure.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So, it's gonna be 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus my hunter's mark is a 1d6 force. So plus 4 force, and then actually, Lash of Immolation does have something
It
extra.
was, sorry, what types of each? What for each type?
Okay, so bear with me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's the first damage is slashing. That was I had rolled a 3 plus 4, so it was 7 slashing. And then I need to roll, and then I rolled the force damage, which was how much? Do you remember? For the hunter's mark? Do you remember what I rolled?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was 4.
Okay.
So 4 for that, and then I gotta roll my fire damage from the Lash of Immolation, which is a 1.
Okay.
And
I wonder if this is like
and
Pokemon scenario.
I will
where certain
invoke.
forms have weaknesses
the
to
rune.
others.
Okay,
so.
that's what, additional damage on
It's
that
an
one?
additional 2d6 of fire damage.
That's
See it.
ether. What would ether be though? Yeah.
An extra 7 fire
Ether's
damage.
done.
Let's go.
As you
Ether's gone.
pull towards it, it's spinning
Only
out,
3
coming
forms
your
left.
way. You watch now as it's barreling directly down the hall and towards all 3 of you guys and wrapping this lash around it with that one hit, and you start to pull. It starts feeling like nothing is changing. And with one final tug, you can feel the power surge from your own hand and through the whip as it now starts to ignite, and you watch as the entire form just crumbles into dust as this creature now continues barreling forward in a ball of fire instead.
I have just defeated 2 of the. Oh my gosh! What's it called? Is he still taking poison damage by any chance?
It is not at this
Okay.
point. You would recognize that would have shed with its previous form.
Okay. That is crazy.
Wow. Well, now
All right.
there's only 2 forms left.
Well, at the top of initiative, first up we've got Cleave, followed by Calagon.
Let's
At
go.
his end step, I would like to drop my form. That was the bonus action I held, was to release my orangutan form.
I'm gonna
Very
move
cool.
really quick too. Just gonna
and
move to
then
right here.
At the top of my turn, I would like to pick up some of the dust from the ground left over from his stone form that fell off the ground. Pick up some of that rubble and just say, "Return to your maker!" And then pull out another, what's it called? Flaming sphere.
Oh,
Fantastic.
And I would like to place
Matt.
that. I'll take a few steps back first, and then I'll place that between us and him. I don't know if fire will damage
Very
it, but
nice.
hopefully it at least blocks him.
Okay.
Its current form is what again?
Fire.
Fire. So I will try to bash it into its form and stop it.
Yeah,
between
most likely
it
it'll
and
probably
us.
be immune to fire in
It
this
probably
form.
will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means somebody
water?
else is gonna have to probably take it out.
I am not gonna be that one.
anything with water, guys?
Okay. Then
Use your mask. I
will
don't
that
know.
be all for your turn, good sir?
What's in the mask?
Can't get it up.
I
Nothing.
don't know what it does.
No attack. There's no form of attack.
I'm gonna stand in between the fireball and Calagon. And actually, I'm gonna basketball it a little bit. I'm gonna go kind of at an angle here between Calagon and kind of Rodrick too. There we go. And then I'm going
that.
to.
Is that the size? That's crazy.
That is craziness. Yeah. If I can take your space a little bit out of it, I'll stand a little bit in Calagon's space. No, that'll still hurt us.
Crazy.
Nah, maybe I won't do that. If it's that big, because that'll hurt Calagon for sure. No, I can't do that whole thing. Dang, it's that big.
That thing is enormous.
It's humongous.
Wild.
Man.
Can you only summon it outside of the elemental space?
Can you summon it where the elemental is? Show up right on it.
How tall is the room?
Within these alcoves, it's probably about like, I'd say for this one specifically, it's about 35 feet tall.
35 feet tall. Okay. All right, so I'll do it at a diagonal angle, kind of above our heads, 10 feet above our heads, but like sort of at its forehead.
Okay.
So it'll still be kind of in that space, but like too far from us to immediately burn. And I'll do like a basketball bonk off of like a little kid's head, you know?
How high did you say?
That video.
Yeah. So it'll be like 10 feet above my head, or 5 feet, whatever it is, in the 5 foot blank space above my head, and then where it is.
Okay.
And then, yeah, right next to it. Yeah, okay, so the bonus action that I will hold will be to take an animal form if it comes within my space and breaks through my mask. If it takes out all my bonus HP, I'll jump into animal form. If not, I'll leave it alone.
Cool. All right. Well then, with that being said, Calagon, I do believe we know your bonus action. Do you
Yep.
have an action and/or any movement that you'd like to use?
Not much movement, especially with that sword in my way. And honestly, all of my attacks are not going to do very well because I have no spell slots left, and the only kind of attack I can do is Force Breath and Firebolt. So, what I'm going to do... Huh? Well, I mean, the sword's right there, though. So,
The sphere.
what am I going to just peek around it? And,
Yeah.
yeah, no?
The sword or the spear?
The sphere.
The sphere.
Also remember, it's
Okay.
15 feet
It's
up
above
in the
our head.
air.
It's above our head.
Okay.
It's high.
Yeah, it's 15 feet up in the air.
All right. Well, I'm going to then look at Cleave and say, "Well done, Cleave. That's pretty cool." And then
So
take a deep
so
breath.
encouraging. well done.
I've never seen that happen.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
I'm also hurt, but then take a deep breath, and I'm gonna Force Breath directly at the thing, which is a cone of. Where is it? A cone of 15 feet. Breath. Does that reach? 15 feet. Let me see. One,
Yeah.
2, 3. Is that? Is it exactly 15? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Force Breath. Use that one, and so that's 1d10 force.
Okay.
If he makes a dex save of 12, it'll be half. So
It does, in fact, make it.
Great. That's what I like to hear.
Dang, this thing just has like auto deck saves. He didn't roll nothing.
I
I'm
rolled.
scared.
I rolled.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Well, 1.5.
1.5.
I rolled a 3. So I don't know how that works.
1.
Fantastic.
It's just a 1? Okay.
Yeah, the lowest one.
Yeah, I guess I should have done what I originally thought about doing. Oh well. After I do that, I'm just going to bask in the cool water. That feels great on my body.
So, yeah, you do get your point back of health there. And luckily, since the ether elemental portion is currently gone, it no longer has damage reduction at any level, which normally you guys had to hit above a certain threshold to even damage it. Currently, 1 damage is enough so that it changes back from fire to water.
Perfect.
Nice.
And with that, however, it is now its turn. Okay. Cleave and Calagon.
Yes, sir.
I would like for you both to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Sure. No
Uh-oh.
problem. Easy. How does a 15 do?
15 does pretty good.
Hopefully pretty good.
Let me double check, but yeah, no, that's a success.
12.
That is not as good.
You don't have any...
Okay.
Do you have a plus or a minus on your skills for dexterity?
Then,
Oh,
as this thing winds up for a brief moment, it looks over to its side at Rodrick, and you can see this brief moment of hesitation as it now starts to pull all of the water towards its lower portions, and all at once starts to suck all of this water all the way upwards so that it starts elongating its body. And with its hands up in the air, you watch as it intentionally sticks its hands into the fire, burning itself and causing it to change forms as it now gets larger and larger
It's scared of me.
and larger and pours down 10 points of fire damage to you and 5 points to you.
Blimey. Well, there goes my mask forever.
Is there
Oh,
a bunch
no.
of steam in the room now?
Is there a bunch of steam in the room? That would make sense. It would definitely be pretty uncomfortable for everyone except for Rodrick right now.
It's a little hazy now, guys.
What a fragile, super legendary item. It's gone already. Gone forever.
That is
So what
pretty
happens
crazy.
when the masks break? Are they really gone forever?
So,
According to
okay,
the
yeah,
text.
so yours is gone?
Yeah.
Then in that moment, there is this, like, kind of
Wait, hold on.
cracking sound.
Hold up, 1 second. Did you die?
Oh.
Or it's just your temp hit
no,
points
you're
that
right.
went
If I
away.
die, it goes away forever.
It's if you die, it goes away. If your temp hit points, you just
I
drop
just lose
the
my
abilities.
abilities. Okay. That's
Well
true.
played.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Well played.
I wanted to make sure we
Got
put
it,
that
got
out
it.
before.
Very important right now.
Yeah.
That's very, very important right now.
However, that will trigger me turning into a buffalo again.
Here's
Nice.
a really good question. If he can make it back to his spot to regain a hit point,
Gotta find out.
okay.
We'll find out right now because I'm down to 0 temporary hit points and I'm in water. So we'll see you next time on my round.
Fantastic. Alrighty. Then with that, you guys took your damage, and Cleave, you do still have your exoskeleton. So then, of course, Rodrick, we're gonna pick up with you.
Okay. What's its current form?
Fire. And it
Fire.
has one hand still in Cleave's flaming sphere.
It's one hand in his flaming sphere, right? Not spear.
Sphere.
Sphere. And
Turn this room
it
into a
is-
sauna, by the way. There's
Oh, hey,
steam everywhere.
What type of damage does it take when it was water?
And it is fire.
What do you mean?
It took damage to get to the fire. Right?
Yeah, it took fire damage.
Did it
to,
purposely just like try to get a minimal amount, or do I need to roll for it still?
Well, whatever would have been dealt to it would have been healed back by the fire portion, because it took the same amount in the same time span that
Fire is
it would have
healing it?
gained instead in its fire form.
Ridiculous.
So that's why it was growing, absorbing power from the fire of your flaming sphere.
Quick question.
Drop that
So
so fast.
no need for any rolls on that front.
Wait, I have two questions. First is, you just dropped your 10 hit points, but health-wise, you look probably great.
Yeah.
And health-wise, how are you looking?
10 hit points.
10 hit points? Not horrible. I also see that there's a spot right next to the elemental that he seems to have shifted. Can I fit through that spot?
It would be extremely uncomfortable, and based on the heat you're feeling from around this thing, you probably wouldn't want to most of the time.
Well, I am
currently-
completely impervious to fire.
Absolutely, you could.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm casting Zephyr Strike,
Let's go.
This thing is.
and
becoming
I
iconic.
am now going to be able to move. I mean, I have 60 feet of movement. Can I just place myself?
Absolutely.
Okay. Right here. And I'm going to flank with Cleave.
Let's go.
And I get double advantage. Zephyr Strike gives me an advantage, and now with my flank I get a double advantage. And I am getting an extra 1d8 force damage if I am able to hit. I am actually going to use... This doesn't seem very smart, but hear me out. I am going to use my Lash of Immolation. But I'm only going to use it because if I somehow crit on this, I will be able to restrain him.
Okay.
So...
Rodrick,
So you have
dice.
3
Rodrick,
chances to crit on it?
dice.
So
Rodrick,
I'm at a plus.
dice.
I'm at a +2 right now with my advantage.
Yeah.
But I would have to crit. So I have 2 chances to crit now.
Gotcha. Alright.
Rodrick, dice. Rodrick, dice.
So it's not a crit.
Rodrick, dice. Rodrick.
I hit, but I didn't crit.
Mm.
Okay. So on my
Booty tank.
on my hit, it was a total of 20
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
to hit. So now I'm gonna roll my damage. It's going to be
They're gonna heal it with fire damage.
8 slashing damage. It's going to be 5 force damage. I actually have an
You have Hunter's
additional
Mark as well.
Yeah, that's my Hunter's Mark.
And then you have the additional 1d8. I
The
believe.
additional 1d8, a force damage
Zephyr Strike.
for my Zephyr Strike,
Welcome to Ranger.
another 4 force damage, and now should I roll my fire damages?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it heals him. Negates anything you just did. Roll low.
1.
It's a 1. That's awesome.
Oh wait, that's great. Okay.
That's great. It's
And
a
actually,
-1.
my 1,
Is a 7.
yeah, it's only 1d6 of fire.
Okay.
So yeah, that's. Does it actually heal him for 1?
Shooting this whip out into the kind of center of its person, pulling back, you can hear the noise, and as it does so, there's this moment where this force starts to just pulsate out from its core, pushing these flames out, and as it does so, it's as though the entirety of this elemental just dissipates, only for this line of fire to streak all the way up the whip. And in that moment, you can see that igniting from the smoke left of what was on your whip, this elemental comes back only for this additional wave of force to just and put out the remainder of what's there, splashing it down into a puddle as it now rises anew.
Did I destroy fire? What is
You don't need me,
happening?
bro. You don't need us.
You
You got this.
What
Take
is
them out.
literally
Take them
what is
out.
happening?
The strongest horseman.
Michael asked what my plan was to speedrun this boss battle on my way out the door today, and I told him to let Rodrick handle it.
Dude, that's great.
This is crazy.
3
Yeah,
out of
it is.
4 forms have fallen to the hands of Rodrick Elwood.
Now we know where our
This battle.
DPS is gonna come from. I'll tank it. DPS support range, bro. Like, let's go.
Let's do it.
Oh, it's crazy.
I'm taking them all out without my bow.
Wow.
Go figure.
Yeah, wild.
Got
We
your
should
new
redo the
signature
intro.
weapon here.
Dude,
We gotta redo the intro. You should see
This
me
is
with
crazy.
my whip.
Yeah. Well, that could be weird. But
Moving on to Cleave. We're about to put Javi back over his screen in a second here.
wait, turn
my
turn the
gosh.
face on. No, turn the face on for you.
to swap you with David. So we're kicking him out of this session. He's gone. You're in.
Yep.
We got a new Rodrick for this session, guys. Everybody, please welcome Javi to the table. We made it.
What's
All
up,
right.
everybody? All right, so for my next move, I'm just kidding. I'm at it.
David's getting all hot and bothered.
Oh man.
Okay, so
Oh lord.
I am going to. It's a water elemental now.
It is a water elemental, and it's very visibly ducking beneath your
Yeah,
giant
I'm
mass
not
of
gonna
fire
do
at
anything
this
probably
point.
with my action. Then I will use my bonus action to, because I'm still able to concentrate on it with my bonus action. I'm going to bring it up straight above its head and then bash it on the head with the
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well, now you're hitting
So that's gonna
water
be-
with fire.
I
So.
tell you right now, it's succeeding on whatever is coming its way. But do go
Yeah, I
on.
only have like a 12 DC, but it's a dexterity save too. And the damage is. Hold on, let me double check on that. Make sure I get this right.
Is it an attack roll what you just did? Because remember, you're attacking at advantage.
No, it's just it has to do.
It's a
save
dexterity.
save. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does your buffalo look
2d6,
like?
okay.
Cat like moving things in the air. Is he like moving a hoof?
Like it's just. I like to imagine like horns, just like.
What chaos is happening in this one
That
room?
would be pretty baller to watch. As
just
this
a-
thing
Yeah,
just
just-
slams down.
Maybe like just like a stomp on the ground at the same time with the front hook.
Nice.
Nice.
6 total fire damage.
6 total points of fire damage. Very nice. Yeah, it does not like that. As you can see, smoke, steam just shooting out the sides as it now impacts, just kind of forming this crater as it's like clearly trying to duck out of the way and sliding now closer towards
Actually,
you.
I still want to do it kind of at a diagonal angle, so it's the flaming sphere is between us and them, but I want to use my action to push back Calagon, move us back a little bit so that it doesn't hurt us if it stays low.
Cool. Yeah. Give it a shot.
I feel so beta right now. It's crazy.
It's like a bull. You get pushed over by a bull, it's okay.
Yeah. You're just backing into me, and I'm like, all right, Cleave. All right. You're a water buffalo right now, technically, because you're in water.
True. Everybody's got one.
Good old Christian jokes. Everybody go home and watch some VeggieTales. That's what you're doing after the stream now. That's it. These are the plans. We're all doing it. VeggieTales viewing party after this.
Calagon was not one of the kids that wrote in saying, "Where's my water buffalo?" Because he has one.
He has one for sure. All right. Well, Calagon, let's see what you and your water buffalo are up to as you are now going.
Can I get on top of Cleave? Does that take like a bonus action, or?
I'll allow it.
You can. How? It's a large size.
I'm behind him, so I was just thinking,
Buffaloes are pretty big.
Those things are enormous.
Like they're a lot bigger than you.
Massive.
Yeah, I would say that definitely would take a climb.
Astonishingly
That would be
big.
like an actual.
I wanted
climbing
to
something
get on
without
top. But
him
it's
like
okay.
laying down.
Does he have any helpful
Helping you up.
movements within the water?
Not specifically. No.
He can't like dolphin splash up. Just, like,
No.
It's only a puddle.
Splash.
It's only a puddle. That would be crazy if he just like spits on the ground and is like flying all of a sudden.
Well, then I'm gonna take a step to the right, so I can get a clear view at this guy, and I'm going to firebolt straight at center mass
Very cool.
with a nat 20 plus
yes, it
4,
is.
24.
Whoa.
To hit.
Undoubtedly
24
hits.
to hit. Now let's get some damage, please.
That's a crit firebolt.
Does that count? It's flush.
It is flat.
Does that count, or does it have to be in there? I want it to count because it's a 10.
Total Stranger Things moment. That was
It's up to you. I'll re-roll if I need
it
to.
landed like on his pocket on the.
I'm gonna give you like a different form
That's
of
what
advantage
happened to
with
me. It
this
was a
first
19.
damage die.
It was-
Roll that twice and you can take the
It
higher
was like
bonus
in the
too.
fabric of his pants was like leaning off past his leg, and it landed like.
That
flat
was
like
pretty funny.
Is that a 6 or a 9? I think. Oh, it's a 6. All right, 6. 6 points of damage. Center mass.
Wait, but he said
But
take the highest.
it was also
Was
a critical hit, was it not?
Yeah.
So you double?
So double
So
damage.
double
damage.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, you've just seen
Bouncy dice.
how this goes. Rodrick having now torn one of these things up with a flaming whip just before your eyes, just moments before. Cleave slamming down fire on its head, and as it's taking it, you recognize that it's not changing form from this heat. And as you let out one final blow, you just... I would like for you to describe how you would like to take down this elemental in its final moments.
After seeing everybody just kill it, I knew as soon as he turned water that I had something for it. So like I said, I slid to the right and just went straight center mass. Kind of like every time I do a firebolt, it's like a Kamehameha for some reason. That's like, I don't know.
Love it. Both you
Magic
guys-
missile's always like a point, and firebolt I always do that. So yeah, I'm going center mass, and but I do have a question. Do I get a temporary hit point back after I went to 0?
Yes?
Cool. All right. Yeah. So slide, Kamehameha, straight to the chest.
Fantastic. And as this thing now takes it straight to the center, you watch as just this hole appears, and there's this bubbling before the steam just... and it just completely evaporates before your eyes. And you can see now where the water from all around in this kind of steamy mist now filling this room, along with rocks from throughout this long stretch. The earth itself, some of the sands from all around, all start to gather again. And as it all starts to compact, it's almost like it's getting forcibly shoved, like getting ejected from a space shuttle, if you will. Just completely sucked down the hallway, and it vanishes. All this just away from you and down off towards the northern.
It's a
ends.
reboot. Because I have to do the boss battle again.
Yeah, second health bar just showed up.
Health bar showed up again.
All right. With that, you guys are out of initiative, and you guys have defeated the transformation elemental. But on the other end, just outside, as now having seen different signs of how these things could possibly go, you get the understanding, Arlyn, that your allies have successfully completed trial after trial. And you get the understanding that after all this time waiting, just watching the light creep in, it's just you. And yet, you hear a loud stone dragging just to the south of you, at the base of the ziggurat.
What is that noise?
Oh, the south, yeah.
Do I see anything changing around me?
Not immediately around you within the room, no.
I'm going to start moving towards the sound just to inspect it and see what exactly is happening there.
Okay. As you kind of near the edge of that room towards the entry, you can see right off the bat there is a figure standing at the entryway to this bastion. with one hand held out to its side, holding open this massive door.
By himself?
As it walks through,
Bro, I was a gorilla. I couldn't do that.
you can see now
Really?
just completely tattered shards of clothing, bits of different materials, all sloppily sewn together and singed. You can see blackened skin, and you can see the form of a very familiar orc.
There's
Standing
no
before you.
way this is happening right now.
You got my Deadpool work, bro?
Deadpool orc, you said? I go,
They call him Dead Pork.
so...
You don't stand a chance?
He probably smells like that.
Well then, moving back. As now,
Can I
This man just
clearly
lets
see like a bit of the detail and recognize him
absolutely.
from over here, from this
This
far?
is undoubtedly the same man that you had just recently had a bit of a scuffle with, that seemingly ended in him taking his own life to try to take all of yours.
I am going to tightly grip the hilt of my sword and my shield at the other side. And I'm going to say, is it you? Is it really you?
Stepping forward, he starts walking closer. Hands up. You watch as he just kind of leaps up with both hands placed on that first step and just kind of scaling it as though it was an absolute breeze, just looking up at you. Once, twice, 3 times.
A lady.
Finally opens his mouth. I think it's time you speak. Say your piece.
What do you mean, say my piece? Speak about what? Were you not dead?
He's gonna tie you to a tree and put acid on you if you don't speak, bro.
This guy is so lucky he ran into
His-
Arlyn.
Slowly just hopping his way up, one after the next,
This is your
until
boss battle.
eventually landing at this first platform. At which point, he looks up. He says, "Would you look down on me so easily?"
You attempted to take my team's life after we spared yours. So, although it's respectable that I see you standing before me after the events that went on, I have lost all respect for you.
He does what you do when you die.
So, why do you return? What do you have to say?
How is it that you could claim to lose respect from me? What could I have done to lose your respect?
So, part of Arlyn's train of thought here is understanding also that he was just trying to survive. Not survive, but like do what he was meant to do, essentially, even at the risk of his own life. Clearly not.
Risk.
And so that's kind of like the where he kind of just stands in silence, still like strong and steadfast. But
With that train of thought, it makes sense to me why Arlyn's the only one that didn't make it into the ziggurat.
wow.
He's already hurt, David. You don't need to.
Wow.
You don't need to hit him while he's down.
While Rodrick clearly is all about the fire, it's clear that David himself is all about darkness and throwing the shade.
Should have done either trial.
What you got?
Man, this is a tricky, so unexpected.
Just tell him it's over, dead pork. You have the high ground.
It's over, dead pork.
You have the high ground.
And he's burning at the bottom. Charred up at the bottom.
This does look like a Mortal Kombat map, though. Like, if you
So
wanna-
he goes, what else do you have to come here about? Have you not seen that we conquered the Bastion? At least my team did.
Then it wasn't you.
Not exactly. But the four horsemen stand together. So their win is my win too.
What do you want out of it?
What do you mean, what do I want out of it?
Why are you here?
What do you mean when you say?
What is this place to you before I answer that?
A home of sorts.
A home that belonged to you, or that was found by... Why was there only two of you?
Why clutch your sword when I appeared?
It's as if I'm seeing a ghost.
Do you fear me?
I don't.
He kind of looks back down to your hand gripping your sword.
I'm
Shield
just
up.
always prepared. Especially after our last encounter.
And what could I have done that would make you question me?
Attempted murder.
Premeditated.
Killed our pet.
You see, at the end of the day, I believe we were both doing the same action, taking care of our own, protecting our own. And unfortunately, we couldn't come to an understanding. I tried. You know I did. I tried to speak to you with no proper response. You wait till now.
I'll ask you again. What do you want from this place?
We want to make the ziggurat what it once was.
What it was protected by orcs.
Very well. And that could still be a thing. I have nothing against orcs. We have one of your own in our team. Seems like the orcs have everything against us. You see, if this bastion was once ran by the orcs, it could be ran again. And it could rise up to be one of the 10 great bastions to defend Arendor.
That has been our goal for some time.
You see, we can help you with that. Clearly, with only 2 of you here, we expected hordes of you inside. And it seems like just standing at the gates has done nothing.
Starts walking forward a little bit more. To stand at the gate is one of the greatest honors that one of us can achieve. He starts climbing again.
I hold my ground.
With one more to protect the ziggurat is an ancient tradition passed down amongst the greatest of our kind. He takes one more leap. And you've seen it before. But as he starts scaling, for whatever reason, the hops start looking smaller. As his form begins to shift. And you can see he starts growing slightly larger. No potion this time. Just growing. And with one step after the next, it continues. And putting one hand out in front of the next, it's as though he's now reaching his legs up to get up to the next step. And climbing up one after the next, his pace starts to quicken. And looking up towards you, you recognize that this is still a pretty steep drop, but he's starting to quickly clear that space between the 2 of you guys.
So, as I'm looking at him, does he seem hostile in the way he's approaching?
Make an insight check.
Or is it just that this is becoming an ease to him? You know what I mean?
You don't need to roll to know that. He's hostile. He killed
It's
me.
an 8.
An 8. Last you recall,
Maybe
he was tied up. And having spoken directly to your face, you're reminded of a simple memory. He had finally calmed himself. And he came to a point where he could apologize to you. And there's this brief moment of hope in your mind, followed by the 2-part apology in which he gave. The first, for his actions, saying that he wasn't typically so uncouth. And the second, for the action, which he was kind of foreshadowing, as he spat in your face and promised that if he were loosed, he would kill you.
Very well. I am going to hold my shield, and I am going to prepare a block action.
A what action?
A dodge action, I guess.
Dodge? Okay. Then as he continues getting closer and closer, growing with each step, his form rapidly shifting in front of you. You can see now where he is sizes above where he previously was,
Sheesh.
as he now starts walking up these like regular stairs almost, and coming your way, stopping directly in front of you, one stare down and yet still eye to eye.
Mm.
You didn't attack me.
Say it again.
You didn't attack me. Why?
Our purpose is not to come with hostility. As unfortunate as that encounter was, it was all entirely a misunderstanding. You guys are so dumb. Just watching, I go.
He puts a hand out
This guy's
and
so
holds
lucky.
it onto your shoulder. And he looks you dead in the eyes. And it's as though the moment of impact forces your body down, just feeling the weight of his hand. He says, "My people have suffered for so long. They've grown biased. They've learned to hate outsiders. I thought that we were past it. I've only recently learned that that was not the case. And specifically that you have helped bring that to light. And you can see where his face starts to change.
In what way?
And it changes just enough where you can recognize that it starts to warp and the bones in his face start to grow even larger. And you can see now where his form starts to shift just ever so more. And rather than the tattered clothes, you watch as he pulls it back, and as though the clothing peels back, almost like skin, you can see where it pulls back
Ugh.
and drops down now into this large reddened cloak that looks like it had to have been almost like a dried pelt of some sort of monster from times past, exceptionally large. At twice the size of a man, you can see that if not for the clear orcish features surrounding the visage of this man before you, you would immediately assume that this was a giant standing before you. Its steps now, as it pushes closer to you, begin to shake the ground below it, even of the ziggurat, as it now presses forward. And you can see where this protrusion starts to come out from the forehead and curls upward, black like obsidian almost. And his skin starts to change to this reddish hue.
What are you?
What's his name?
Having been mottled with streaks of bronze, you can see where there
Wait, say he's
are
really black?
clear
Like dead pork?
changes
It's
in
amazing.
his skin. Clear evidence of some sort of chimeric enhancement of different creatures' abilities interwoven into one being. And yet, for as strong as he is moving surprisingly gracefully. You can see now where he had pulled back that cloak, there is this kind of grayish tan, almost bone-like armor all around as he puts the other hand to you.
Are you?
Forgive them. They are hurt.
Who is hurt?
The orcs.
Yes, I have heard. We have gotten word of the extinction of your people.
Not quite yet.
Correct. But part of our destiny is to make sure that doesn't happen.
Very good.
And as he kind of moves his hand across your shoulder, you can tell that his whole hand is still kind of pressed off the edge of your shoulder for how large he is. As he kind of brings it in, he places his entire thumb just across your face.
Bro.
And he looks now as he's starting to move closer towards you and lift another leg to get onto your level. And he starts looking down as he rises above you.
He's gonna squeeze your head in.
And he
I could
says,
easily get
Pop
it.
you like a pimple.
"Thank you. That is what I've needed to hear."
Who are you? Are you the guardian of the ziggurat?
No, she was much scarier.
Oh,
I see.
They called me a few things.
A few things. That's a weird.
Title known throughout these parts prior to recent years was Giant Splitter. For now, you may simply call me Toscan.
It's the tusks. I can't.
I've never seen any of your kind before.
I am a different breed, something to come as our people continue to grow. You have learned of this in part, I've seen. You've met him already. One of my officers, Hemlock.
Yes. Well, I believe our intentions are aligned. And although we do have a rough history, I don't think without us you can reach your goals if clearly you have not yet.
He looks around. You are much faster to open it than we have been. I certainly hope so. And you watch as he now starts to sit down, cross-legged beside you. He motions towards the door, and he says, "Those two had families. You will need to tell me about what happened here as clearly as possible." And with that being said, we'll pick back up inside.
Okay, so he's not the guy.
No.
Okay.
He was
And
disguised
he's not
as
the guardian.
Guys, I think.
Did he take this?
Okay, so
body?
this is candid. We're not in scene anymore.
Uh-huh.
I think this might be the guardian of the ziggurat now.
But he said he wasn't, I thought. He
No,
said-
but we are called to choose a guardian for the ziggurat.
Oh.
Or be the guardian of the ziggurat. But we have
Yeah, not
9
gonna
other
happen.
bastions to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not our calling to be the guardian of the ziggurat. And
Yeah.
if this was meant to be an orcish bastion, I feel like this could very well
Yeah.
be the guardian
He's the
of
guy to
ziggurat.
get the orcs on our side.
Correct.
And reunite. Or,
Bro,
yeah, alright.
yes. That's just my opinion.
I will say I am still concerned about the way you spoke to him when you thought he was the guy that killed me.
Yeah. Rodrick would have Spartan kicked him down the.
Yeah,
down the
correct.
ziggurat.
But he also is fueled with rage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else when I feel like the only one left with like some sort of like I guess compassion and wisdom over our main role on as the Four Horsemen is probably Arlyn. Like at least in some sense.
You
But
had
I feel like
compa-
Cleave has just given up.
You had compassion
Cleave has just given
after
up.
you thought all your friends got killed by fire, and it reminded you of your
They are still
parents
alive,
getting killed by
but
fire.
Yeah, well, if they were actually killed, like if that actually happened, I think that'd be
Fair
a
point.
different encounter.
I love getting to see the insights. So let's hear about it a little bit more over the next 10 minutes as we hop to break.
All right.
And pick back up, back down south at the bottom end of the
My
bastion.
bracelet.
Perfect. See you guys
See you
soon.
soon.
Hello and welcome back yet again. So, having now met a new friend up top, Arlyn and Toscan continue their conversations as they go about enjoying each other's company and discussing what had previously occurred between the 4 horsemen and the 2 guards at the entryway to the ziggurat. While down below, and finally outside of initiative, we have Cleave, Calagon, and Rodrick picking back up with a giant burning sphere above their heads as they all now wade through the light puddles of this portal. Calagon, you can feel the energy still surging through you as it continues to bolster you, and you can see where those, like that translucent membrane starts to thicken again, and you can see now ice crystals reforming around your joints, your knuckles, your wrist, your elbow, almost like a thin layer of armor surrounding your skin.
Okay. All right. First thing I'm going to do after the battle is run to Cleave. Are you still a water buffalo?
Tentatively, yeah.
Okay.
I will not drop it right away, and I will start moving the orb. I'm just like still laser focused, moving the orb towards the center of the room, just in case something else goes down.
Hug orb. Cleave, thank you so much. I don't think I would have been able to get through the trial without your help and your letter. And I love you too. Amen. Rodrick, what is that whip you have? That's crazy.
Some would call it an upgrade. Where's Arlyn?
I don't know. He didn't make it past the trial, I guess.
I just take steps silently closer down the hall, closer towards wherever like all the stuff was moving.
Did he die in the trial?
I don't know. I woke up and everyone was gone.
Take a glance back at you and then just keep moving, looking.
And as you do, you can feel as the power now starts to fade from this fire, slowly just lightening.
But I got this mask from the trial, and I see you got a whip, and what else? What else happened?
He's wearing
a mask too.
Yeah.
So he's got like this golden mask, and like his scars are like almost like sparkling with like flickers of like embers almost.
So you have the fire, I have the water.
Just a
Cleave is a
giant
buffalo
exoskeleton.
Does he have a mask on
He
with his buffalo?
he has an exoskeleton surrounding the entirety of the buffalo.
Dope.
That's crazy. So what about the fourth one?
Is it glowing or is it just
Just a black, like an
just looks like a bug? That's sick.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
disturbing.
That's crazy.
Well, who passed the 4th one?
He can't even speak because he's a buffalo.
Well, maybe no one. If Arlyn isn't here.
Does the danger appear to be gone as I get up close to the middle?
As you continue forward,
I'm still
walking
bringing the
off,
flaming spirit above it.
between the conversations and the actions, the flaming sphere would be going out about now.
I
As
waited.
You walk over, and you don't hear or see anything immediately around you.
I waited until every single one of these corners lit up before that creature showed up.
How long have you been down here?
How long has it been for me?
Time is weird.
Just
down
a few
here.
minutes, really.
Oh, okay.
Because I had landed before they even started the second one.
Been just a few minutes.
Well, it appears it's only the 3 of us then.
I'll come back over. And then I'll drop form. Just like a slobbering mess. Just like and I'm just gonna run over to probably not you. Are you flaming because he's on fire?
Yeah,
right now?
he's on fire a little bit. He kind of looks slow.
I would come close and then
Scary.
well, and then just maybe just drop to my knees. I won't run all the way back to Calagon. I'm so sorry, Rodrick. I'm so sorry, Calagon, both of you. I know I couldn't say it. I couldn't register it before, but I'm so sorry.
Sorry for what?
I should have ripped the flesh from that betraying orc. That cretin. I
Listen,
should have made him extinct.
I'm gonna kneel down to Cleave's level, and I'm gonna say, usually one dies through the fire, but I become greater. I am now fire. And I hold the whip and let it take flame again to show him.
I learned your path a bit in my trials. I died a creature's death, and I am now a creature. I stand up. I'm just like looking at my exoskeleton, looking at my hands.
What was once is no longer. We must forge the path forward.
Did your voice get deeper, Rodrick? Is that the fire?
Well, my vocal cords have been strained since the burning, but maybe, perhaps. Oh my goodness, that's so much better.
Well, Cleave, don't you see?
Into your flaming arm. Say thank you.
I will once learn to trust you again, Cleave.
No. Don't you see? This was all meant to happen.
I was meant to burn.
We were meant to become what we were meant to pass the trials. We were meant to become what we are. I can't tell you how distraught I was after it happened, and I understand, and I understand you being upset, but I just feel like I've started over. I feel like this is a new life for all of us. I know it was a bad thing, but things aren't going to be easy. I thought this was all going to be, I thought we were meant to be the 4 horsemen and it was all going to work in our favor, but I've come to realize that nothing is certain. And through hurt, you become stronger.
Well, one thing I did realize is, amidst the ashes of that cave is my father's notebook.
Cleave just hangs his head.
And Barry's body.
So Rodrick did die there. But time and time again, seems that all things are worked for our good. And clearly there is a bigger purpose to this than we know. Maybe I could drop the act too.
But Arlyn, what happened to Arlyn?
I pull out another mask from one of my many pockets, and I hold it out forward. I don't know anything for sure, but I know you didn't make it through.
I'm gonna try to take my mask off, because I don't know that I can.
Cool. Yeah. As
So-
you kind of grip it and pull.
Guys,
Suck.
this won't come off.
No, mine won't either.
I wonder if one can wear 2 at the same time.
I have tried. It should have been Arlyn. He was our rock.
As much as I love what this mask gives me, I didn't expect to be wearing it forever. Remember, it's like my snout, and then the mask is like...
For me, it seems to be more of a blessing.
yeah.
You know, I prayed last night for something to give me greater purpose. And I believe this mask does just that.
As I'm standing in the water, am I gaining more hit points? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. All the way up to the max of your temporary.
Okay, cool.
If I can hide from the world, then I can show them who I truly am.
Not sure what that means.
Well, I'm no model. I am willing to do things that others aren't.
Well,
Then I'm willing to do whatever's necessary.
well, guys, come
I'll
on.
follow your old leads.
I don't feel like we should be down right now. We just defeated an insane elemental monster. We are, in a sense, reborn as a group. You passed 2 of the trials, Cleave? That's impressive.
But at what cost? I dropped the probably really heavy mask.
I listen, I hope Arlyn's okay. I mean, but I was there before I walked into this trial. I was ready to go home. I was ready to die here. But I'm telling you guys, we're growing, we're learning, we're becoming the adventurers we set out to be. We're becoming stronger as a group, and I just feel like we need to be more optimistic. I think we should actually start looking around this tomb though as well.
I will do whatever is necessary. Whatever you say. Sounds good to me.
No, Cleave, listen, you're not a follower anymore. Cleave, I should be following you. I've failed so much. This is my one success, and I'm excited for it, but both of you are the stronger horsemen. So, I'll follow your leads.
And I'll let you follow me to the ends of this earth.
So, Rodrick.
Please
I gladly take this post as leader of the group.
Well,
It has
no,
been so given to me.
no, that's not what I was saying.
No, speak no more, Calagon. Speak no more.
Behind a mask, flaming.
He would look pretty baller giving this little speech.
What is it? For a simple moment, the old voice of Rodrick seems to have pierced your ears.
Now, while we search around the dungeon, let's just think of an easy way to break this to Arlyn when we see him next.
If we
You
see
think
him
he's
next.
alive?
I don't know. I wasn't the last one to see him.
Neither was I.
Who was? Did you see him last? Did he die in his trial?
He went into the trial of Earth.
I didn't see him when I woke up.
You never saw him come out.
I arrived through... When I finished the Aether trial, I arrived at the base of the Earth one. Just as Calagon had described it. It looked like a giant Moncala board.
And what happened to you in the Earth trial?
In the Earth trial or the Water trial?
The Earth trial.
Well, I got out. After I failed.
So you weren't killed?
No, I just barely got away. I feel like I really could have.
And when
done
you
better,
came
but-
from the Earth trial, you didn't see Arlyn's body in there.
Well, he passed the Earth trial.
Correct.
He wasn't in there, yeah.
That means there's a possibility he's still alive.
So acting leader then. Until we reunite with
You can't
Arlyn.
even see your facial expression because you have a metal mask.
Like flickers of flame just...
You were always his lieutenant, right?
He worked for him or something? I don't know. I never understood that relationship. But
Well, the man,
it's the natural second
the man
command.
the man he bought died in that cave. And the man that stands before you answers to no one but the one above.
Rodrick, I don't see this. I understand your feelings, but I don't see this as a strength. If anything, you're just creating another weakness for yourself. You can't hold on to the past. I lost Barry, and he was everything to me at one point. He was the only reason why
I just start looking around the cave.
But
like he told me to do.
Then avenge him.
I will, but I'll avenge his. I'll avenge him with honor, not with wrath and anger. I'm gonna do right by what Arendor said, and I'm gonna try to get us out of this funk and really, I think we all need to push forward. We succeeded the trials. Now we need to see if Arlyn's still alive. We really need to look through this area and find a way out. Cleave, do you see anything? I'm gonna walk to the middle.
I've got a test.
As he's walking away, I'm gonna point my my whip to him as he's like further away.
Me?
And to Calagon, and he's gonna hear only in his ear, an eye for an eye.
I'm gonna turn around in Roderick's voice. I'm assuming I heard that.
Yeah, just as he said it.
An eye for an eye. What does that solve?
Everything.
I'm gonna take a step into the ether pool and see if it. Why did I teleport just now?
Sometimes it does that.
And see if it.
I'm gonna go to the fire and
brings
regain
back my
all my temp hit points.
10 hit points. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to the. Actually, I'm just gonna wait in front of the ether for Cleave.
I think I only took 10 health. I have 4 health off of me.
Wow. That's amazing. Alright, yeah, as you guys sit in your respective pools, it's as though the things that would normally do you harm within each instead begin to restore you. The cold gives you some sense of joy, some sense of peace as the fire brings warmth. The pressure of this force just surrounding you is almost like being swaddled.
As that's happening, I'm gonna look around, see if there's anything worth investigating inside of that little room.
Make an investigation check. I'll tell you what, perception from there.
That's crazy. 5.
Nothing of note.
Sick.
I'll just come back out and meet Calagon.
Okay.
It's the middle.
How do you feel?
How do I feel? Did it all came back?
It's back. You're good.
I feel strong again. This exoskeleton mask, it makes me light and very powerful. Like I can lift practically anything. I have a gift for you.
For me?
And I'm gonna unsheath, I guess. This is just like enormous super goth sword. It just looks like it was meant for you. Like the lightning javelin seemed like it was meant for Arlyn.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the sword.
Okay.
Do I have like a Harry Potter moment or anything?
It just feels like a sword in your hands.
It's an incredible tool.
What is it made of?
Maybe like this. And I just like gesture to my exoskeleton. It's hyper dense, and it has incredible properties. Watch this. And is it just by my? How do I say? Do I have to be touching it to make it pause in space?
Double check the read on that.
Alright.
I have a quick question.
Should say.
While he's looking that up, is the water in that area just water? Is there some property to it that is making the healing possible?
There seems to be a light glow, but it's clearly not from the water. It's from that circular portal that you were standing on previously.
So if I bottle up some of that water, I guess I'll go do that after.
And I'm gonna look in that northern
say.
room.
Sorry, let me double check.
Says
on
you can
that
take a utilize
one
action
there.
to activate this weapon's property.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, all you need to do is be attuned to this one, and you can activate it as though it's your own because it also is returning. So you can either pause it in the place where it is or
Nice.
return it to you from wherever remotely.
Then as you're as you're like wielding it and like weighing it and stuff, it just like pauses. And I say,
I can't move it.
it's incredible. I did that just by spending some time with it and sort of, I don't know, like getting to know it. It's like,
Will I be able to use this like you can?
I think you will. And I release it. I say, I mean, it's all
That is
yours if you have the time.
Amazing. Definitely check that out. But in the meantime, should we take a look at these other areas?
I don't know what these other ones were. Could there have been more trials? And I'll say that walking towards like one of the next ones over, whichever one you pick.
Yeah, and I'll follow you. So we'll go together, I guess, into
Yeah.
this one right here.
What do you think this one could have been?
What does it look like in there?
Then, between the two of you guys, I will start up with Rodrick. As Rodrick, having now checked out the place to the north, it's a fairly basic-looking room. There are lights from all directions surrounding you. There are very similar yet smaller, almost grated barrels beside you with flames burning, and 2 light posts at the side that seem to be emanating some sort of energy. Not entirely unlike what seems to be coming from these 4 portals, if you will. Within the eastern alcove over there, it's a very similar look, just with many, many more candles, and a small set of really, really old parchments lying on the floor.
I'm going to obviously take and inspect them.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Yeah.
Is Rodrick able to interact with stuff? Can he shoot his bow without it burning on
7.
fire and stuff?
Okay. Is it 7?
Mhm.
Sorry, I was just.
It's really hard to make out the words. It's really
thinking about how
not
bad
only
it
just
is.
old but dirty. And so between that, there are scribbles, but you can tell that the person who wrote it didn't even have good handwriting to begin with, and it's largely just a jumbled mess of random words here and there.
Are there a lot of papers, or is it just a
No,
few?
not especially.
I'll just collect them and put them in my pocket, I guess, for later.
Okay.
Maybe we can figure that out later. I feel like we should be together. I don't know if we should leave Rodrick on his own.
You do see,
Whatever you
Rodrick,
say.
before you a curtain of sand extending at the end of the hallway down past towards where you can see light slowly trickling through between the sands as they fall.
Anything of note in the statues that are emanating that energy?
Make an investigation check.
So I actually pre-rolled
Yeah, it
for
was
that.
Dirty.
So it would
paper was
be
dirty, old
investigation?
writing,
Yep.
All the above.
Sure, not perception. I'm just kidding. 12.
12. It's hard to see where it would all originate, if not from potentially underground. It almost looks like the kind of hidden figure of a humanoid with like a hand out with the head of this lamp post, if you will, being the head of the figure. Where they are entirely shrouded, and given the change of what you've seen and everything around you thus far, it seems unusually fitting, yet also a bit unusual.
Head to the center.
You said it has its hand out?
Yes.
I'm going to touch the hand.
Okay. Feels like stone.
Nothing to it. And the other one is the same?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to walk through the sand.
Okay. Fantastic. Then the rest of you guys now just kind of fishing around, checking this place out, get to experience a little bit more, while Rodrick, you can feel an unusual warmth start to overcome as now the sands start to hit your head, and passing through there is a clear change as you can hear the trickling sounds of the sands hitting the ground and now falling, overflowing just past you. And walking forward, you're greeted with an enormous entryway, unlike anything that you've seen up until this point. This kind of central causeway, if you will, a massive bridge with a column at its core. You can see massive, massive pools of sand on both sides of it, and a grand archway with almost what looks like a hidden underground mausoleum entryway before you.
I'm going to turn back around. I want to finish investigating that room before we move forward.
Fair enough. Then vanishing back towards where the rest of your allies were here. What are you guys up to?
I'm in the middle, just coming back from that room.
I'm following along with him, but I just wanted to double check. The parchments we found were on the ground, or were they on the
They were
barrels?
on the ground.
Then I would like to. Are there barrels on the side of the room?
They're burning barrels. They're lightly used, but clearly graded so that you can see that these ones aren't lit actually, but they would be like ashen. Like you can see it's almost like looking into a fireplace where you can see logs inside.
Okay. All right. No. Yeah. Then I follow him. Coming.
I'm gonna yell for Rodrick. Rodrick, what's up there?
I'm going to point my whip towards him, and he'll hear in his ear, "The path forward."
Rodrick, I see you. You don't have to talk in my head. The path. Okay. Do you want to inspect these rooms before we go? I found some papers. I don't know what they say. I would hand it to you, but I think it would probably burn up.
Yes.
No, don't. I want to know what they are. Maybe we could find someone to translate it. But there must be something else in these other rooms. I'm yelling this, I guess, not talking it.
You can whisper back to me. I'll hear you.
No, I'm yelling. I don't like the head thing yet. I'm not used to that. There's 2 more rooms to check out. And I'd like to stick together just in case that thing comes back.
I'll approach back down. Let's check west.
Okay.
Is it? So when all the stuff got just like super fast, like absorbed away, it's in the middle of the room? Or is it?
No, it went up northward.
Towards the temple thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm following him.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Easy enough. It seems to be a study of some sort. There are desks and shelves lining the interior of this room. Small chests, crates all about, and a clear...
I want to look through every chest and every crate.
You start that way.
Baby boy.
I'm going to go here.
I
Cleave,
want
you
to
start
be
there.
there until we can...
Yep.
I don't care if it takes an hour. I'm breaking into
Yeah.
every chest and every crate in that room.
I feel the same way.
What are you up to?
Whatever they want to do.
I already moved you. You're looking with us.
There's no universe for leaving this room without checking every single thing.
Yeah.
I'm super probably good at opening stuff right now.
Everybody go ahead and roll investigation for me.
Should we do a group one? Let's
yeah.
see.
Investigations are so bad, dude. 7.
I was gonna say, can I just
7?
give somebody else
Okay.
like advantage? I don't need.
Did you already roll?
No.
I did.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, go for it.
7 as
7,
well.
7, and
Yeah, you roll
you're
again.
gonna give
You don't-
Calagon
Oh.
advantage. Hilarious.
Hold up.
I'm just lifting stuff up. So
I'd
you can see.
actually like to... What's your investigation?
+2.
What's your investigation?
-1.
-1, and yours is +2. You're giving him advantage,
Yeah,
and you're not rolling investigation?
correct.
To give him advantage?
Yes.
So his investigation will be like for... I want to give Bardic Inspiration to him to get an even higher investigation.
So roll again.
Which
No,
is
you get to
that?
roll
No, it's
another.
That's adding a d6 to your roll.
Okay. So did I roll at advantage or did I roll for him?
you
So
rolled
do I
at
take
advantage.
Okay, so I take the
Yeah,
higher
so
roll,
you-
which is 7, unfortunately, and you said
Add a d6.
d6. Okay.
That could get you at least to a like
I
a
hope so.
moderate.
13.
5. So
It's not bad. 12.
12.
Total of 12. Yeah. There are a series of different manuscripts folded and bound throughout these chambers, and largely they seem to be nonsensical. There are very few that stand out in any way. Some of them creatures where you hear you reading one of the text out loud. It's simply labeled the Red Panda Problem. Another, the Candy Cane Forest. A third, Mogwai Care 101.
Nice.
But aside from that, it's hard to make out anything interesting. Rodrick, throughout your entire search, as you're going through this and they're pouring through countless books, you open a crate and you get the NKMV Holy Bible, and you recognize that the entire crate is the exact same thing. Place that to the side, open the next crate. It is the exact same thing, and crate after crate on your side of this study is just countless manuscripts of the exact same book, repeating over and over and over again.
Say it's the new King Malfurion version.
Is it all in common, or are they different
That it
languages?
is.
Yes.
Is it all in common, or is it in? Okay.
Yes, it is in common.
Okay.
So, did we go through every crate? Is every crate full of Bibles?
And
They all are
stories.
full of things that largely seem random. There are many, many of them, but trying to make sense of them all so quickly, there are countless within this library. There are crates, there are library shelves dedicated to this, and it's going to take a long time of really pulling through these if you really would like to get a sense of every single book throughout of what you can find here.
Every single one.
You gonna read them all? Or you gonna
Time is
take them
weird
all
down
with
here,
you?
so might as
You
well
can-
use it.
Yeah, you can
we
do
can
whatever
make
you
it a
Can
want.
we do this
montage.
over the course of a short rest? Is this
Yep.
the rest? As we just read
Yeah, we can make it just make it a montage. We'll put some background, some music on it,
Like a
some like
slumber
old
party.
school 2000s rock and
Yeah,
roll.
yeah.
So we'll say over the course of what, 4 hours?
What's
you guys
4 hours
will
down
be
here?
pouring through additionally.
4 hours down here is like
10 minutes.
not that long for.
Okay.
Or
So I would say
forever.
the
Forever and
initial
ever,
would
yeah.
probably be like an hour already. So this would be an additional 4 hours. So this would be a grand total of about 5
Blimey.
hours to expand this.
At the
Okay,
end of that,
I'm
can we take a
bonding
3-hour
with this
nap and
new
just call
guy.
that a long rest?
I'm just bonding with this
Yeah.
new guy.
Yeah,
That's
you could.
alright.
You guys down with that?
I'm down with that for sure.
What? To long rest?
Yeah, if after 5 hours we just like 3-hour nap and call that a long rest.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I need some spells.
Fantastic.
Wait, like,
All right. Well, then
in
going
here?
out and pulling crates even from other
You're gonna
rooms and
die of thirst
making
up
sure
there.
to search every last nook and cranny. I will go ahead.
This is definitely gonna be Interstellar when we get out of here. It's been 26 years.
It's gonna be rough.
Arlyn, you have a beard?
It's so wispy.
The guy who's supposed to be the guardian died of old age. We go to the next bastion. The dragons actually showed up and decimated all the bastions before we could get to them. All because we decided to read the Bible 26 times.
Oh, my
Hence
gosh.
begins our next campaign, the 4 Horsemen apocalypse.
Love it.
Well, with that, you guys may take your long rest as well as roll one more investigation check.
Goodness.
As you begin pulling in whatever crates and barrels you can find from every room in this lower dungeon.
Before the
Take advantage
before the
again, I'm
long
not
rest,
doing
I'm gonna give.
Wait, did you already roll?
Hold up.
Okay.
Before the long rest, I'm gonna give him a bardic inspiration, and you're giving him advantage. Okay. So then I guess.
Can you also do your cantrip at the same don't you have a thing for that?
What do you mean?
No, you have resistance, not guidance. You have guidance? Which one of those?
I don't have guidance. I only have resistance. Yeah, I don't have anything that's gonna help him get better. But I do have bardic inspiration, so he can add a d6 to it. I can't bardly inspire myself, sadly, but I'll roll for
14.
investigation. Why not?
14 total after advantage.
Not 20 on
plus-
my roll.
Man, that's tough.
I know.
Beautiful.
Did you roll the 4 on the d6?
Having
four
gone
on the
through
D6.
your many
Roll
crates
an
on this end, you start pulling out towards the rest, and now
used
pulling
his
from
dice.
the other rooms. You figured there can't be more here, right? And while eventually you do come across one more crate of NKMV Bibles, the remainder are different. And pouring through there are a few things that are very interesting. A few children's books immediately come to your attention. I would like for you first and foremost to roll a d4 for me.
1.
1. Fantastic.
Is the whole wall crates? Is that what you're saying? Like everything here is like crates? Like perimeter?
Like down
of the-
below is like mad crates. The sides are all like library shelves of books, and then there are
tough.
crates stacked up in the middle room and in the lower room as well,
Man.
all full of countless books.
Are the library shelves the ones that are full of the Bibles?
No, it's
Cambies?
there's like a ton of crates and chests even on that north end, as well as like the studies like drawers. There are drawers within the actual desk there, also full of New King Malfurion version Bibles. However, after pulling from outside, there are a few interesting ones that tickle your fancy. The first is called If You Give an Almirage a Brownie.
Perfect.
You recognize it is a children's book, but it's just a
reading
really
that.
good children's book. It's really enjoyable, and you take it that people could really learn valuable life lessons from this children's book. Another is a poem, also seemingly dedicated to children. It's titled The Land of Fire and Ash. And on its cover, despite being for children, is a phoenix head-to-head with a dragon. Looks pretty cool. It's very fun. There's an additional book, however, that stands out amongst the rest. It is called Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes.
No way.
No way.
And as you start flipping through it,
I'm so confused, guys.
there are
What's that?
countless pages
Yeah, I don't
of
know.
information on creatures that somebody has gathered from all throughout the lands. Henceforth, you may now freely look through Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes for any creature that you guys come across, and you can now read up and study it.
So you can turn
And
have
use
access to
I feel like
that.
we should change
You
that.
can access that.
Do we have access?
in-
Do they have
no,
access
that's
to that?
perfectly.
on
That's
D&D
that's all
Beyond?
their thing that they can. Yeah, we're using D&D Beyond. This is all their content there. That's great.
Do you guys have access to Mordenkainen's?
I'll bring the actual book in, and you can
Sick.
flip through that freely throughout our sessions.
have it on D&D Beyond.
That's
So
pretty
that means
dope.
you're able to change into any of those that you know about now, or is
Well,
that like
I can't change it to anything.
Great question. I have no
Would-
idea.
Depending
Beyond
on
that-
CR rating? maybe?
Finally, there is one book that seems hidden behind the bookshelf that seems to have fallen in,
Just the elves.
that
yeah.
for whatever reason is bound very differently than the rest. And as you wipe your finger across, starting to slide other books out the way, you kind of notice this slight glimmer of gold. And feeling along the binding, you can feel this.
Gold always
Quality.
catches my eye. Every
And
time.
as you lift,
Like a raccoon.
Don't melt
you
it.
lift now this surprisingly light book, despite its its thickness. And flipping through it for a brief moment, you start to get the sense that there's something off about this. The pages almost start to flick before you reach them. It's called A Manual of Quickness of Action.
Ooh.
Manual of Quickness of Action. Can I skim it to see what it does?
Yeah, for sure. It seems to be largely showcasing forms of different sorts. Some almost look like sports forms, some seem to be combat, others dance. It seems to span a wide variety of different subjects, but all based on the human form and movement and how best to navigate your own actions.
It's gold. It's got to be worth something.
Can I add that to my inventory?
Yeah, for sure.
Is that the one that increases your stat? You'll have to see it. You have to read it.
Is it a manual or Emmanuel?
A manual.
Like, okay, all right.
A manual.
I thought it was Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Manual of what? Of quickness?
Quickness of Action.
I think that's the one that increases like your dexterity or something. Maybe gives you an extra action. I don't know.
I have it
You have to
here.
read it.
I need you to get identified. I'm gonna need you to
Identify is
quick, fast, in
dope,
a hurry.
especially in exploration.
What level is that?
Pretty low, I think, right?
Level
I
one?
think so, yeah.
Oh, it is?
That sounds right. But luckily you can usually identify things after enough time with them or doing the right thing, but
Yeah.
it can be a very, very helpful tool to discovery. But that being said, you would feel at this point very confident and very pulled into these two books that seem to be both otherworldly on one hand and exceptionally useful in just an informative sense on the other.
Wow. That's awesome.
I told you. Something like that.
I will keep that.
That's a special book. That ain't no sell it at the pawn shop book.
For the sake of not wasting any time, they do run out of power. It is not necessarily guaranteed. I would like for you to roll live for everyone 51 or higher, and it is in your favor that this has not been used anytime recently already.
So percentile?
So 51% or higher,
For the Manual of Quickness
and
of Action?
it's all yours.
Percentile.
Okay.
Because they do have a long wind up time.
This.
Let's see. That's a good point.
Please. $62?
Incredible.
62.
And so it is completely active and all yours to
And
read in
unused?
full.
Oh, snap!
I still have to use it within the next 48 hours, I'm assuming, right? I'm gonna have to read
You're
it, or
still
can
gonna
I
have to read, yeah.
can I equip it already?
You're gonna have to go through and read the entirety of the manual,
Okay.
but it will be very, very beneficial in time. But that being said, you guys have now kind of exhausted all of what you can find over the course of 5 hours rummaging through this place.
Yikes.
I'm going to, if it's possible, lift up a bookshelf. Can I do that?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna check behind it first of all. I'll probably check behind all the bookshelves just in
Okay.
case there's any secret passages.
Yeah,
That'd
make
be awesome.
just a general dexterity check. This is gonna be fairly easy, but
20. Not
Wow.
natural, but
okay.
maybe 20.
Yeah. Then shifting it outward, there doesn't seem to be any falling back of any of the books as you pull it off the wall. Nothing seemingly hidden behind this. Nothing below it.
Then I would just like to present to everybody the option that we could carry a lot of this out, but this also might just be like one of our homes now. We could I mean, this is just like our library. We don't necessarily have to take anything out.
Seems to be a lot of children stuff down here. It's peculiar.
What
wanna raise
child would spend their time here? I mean, just for us to be able to have access to this room, we had to defeat that thing, so...
Really cool child.
What was up in the north section?
Well, it's, something of a mausoleum. And once you pass the sand fall, kind of like a waterfall, but made of sand.
Oh.
You walk through, it's plenty of sand, just so much sand, I can't even fathom it.
Okay. Like, I guess we've looked through all of this and we've taken a 3-hour nap.
Did we look through the southern room as well?
Nope.
You would have by this point.
Oh, okay.
I would say, yeah.
Thank
Because
goodness.
it's largely the same as the one up north, but with a few crates that you were able to steal up as well.
Well, then I say it's time for us to move on.
Okay.
What say you?
Crates of the stuff that we basically are already encompassing in this whole
Yeah,
adventure?
all the
Okay.
books and whatnot.
Okay.
Together, you lead the way.
Together.
And he's probably attuned to his sword?
Yeah?
By this point, yeah. Well, I guess I gotta add that in, huh?
Okay. Let's, go up north.
Oh, yeah, I'll send it to you. Can I do that? Can I
don't
just
know.
Do
like,
what?
share my... I have this thing in my inventory. Can I like send it to him? I don't know how that works.
I can do that. I'll
Okay.
run that. And so, entering in, you guys are now met with this highly unusual, extremely elaborate and large building hidden underneath the ziggurat. And you can see where the sands are almost eternally pouring down on you. Still generally slowly, but it's pretty hard to see everything within this expanse, given just how much sand there is.
It is pretty.
There is a column directly ahead of you as you all enter.
Anything special on that column?
Any crazy writing or
On the column
beware?
there is text. Nothing too complicated, and it is in common, at least on one line. And given the languages shared between the lot of you guys, you can tell that there are a few languages in which it's written.
What are the languages?
Specifically in Common, Orcish, and Giant.
Same thing over and over? Or like,
Same thing. It says, only by giving up the guise of power may the truth of self be known. Offer up your life to gain life anew.
Offer up your life to gain life anew?
Why is it always riddles? Why can't they just tell you what to do? And what do you
Why
think
is it
that
always life that needs to be offered?
I learned that I can do that. I can do that without actually dying. I can give up
What was it
a
like
life.
for you?
It was questioning. It was scary. It was the fear of the unknown, being almost known. I felt so much pain and then existential dread and then a feeling of loss. Like I had lost someone else and yet a part of me at the same time. Like a loved one had passed.
As he's talking, is there any rocks or anything nearby that I could maybe pick up and throw into that sand?
There are a fair bit of general options hidden about here. Within your current perimeter, I'd say there'd probably be a few, depending on how large you'd want to go. But yeah,
Just a hand-sized rock, and I'm gonna toss it into the off the path into the sand. Just
okay.
See.
You watch as it fairly quickly sinks straight down. And you can tell that these sands are pouring down constantly, and they've got to have somewhere to go. And it seems like it's just an endless pit below.
I will give my life. I stand up on the banister.
Wait, what?
Someone has to give up their life.
But can we try to walk first? Like,
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I don't know if we should jump to suicide so quickly.
Where did you go for this? What are you doing?
I was standing on the edge of the banister or whatever to jump.
Jump into the sand.
Make a perception check for me.
I do have a plus. Okay, a 6.
6. Okay. Looking down to it, it does look like it would crush most people. Given what you've experienced thus far, it's hard to say what it would necessarily do to your current form. But then stepping back down. Okay. What are you guys up to?
I guess we should start walking.
I keep being confused as to where my chains are, but I think they're on me.
Okay, that's fine.
I think.
Your chains are gone.
Yeah.
You've been set free.
Yeah. I think they are.
You think they're with the...
I think they're with you.
No, they're with me. Okay. Alright, we'll walk across first, but I'll be kind of like fooling with the chains in my hand as I'm walking across. Big old just like pythons that it wrapped around me all the time. Alright. Yeah, we'll make our way across the bridge.
Slowly walking your way around, it's incredible to see that more details within the
Yeah, I'm looking everywhere.
mausoleum, this building, whatever it is, seem to speak to you. You can tell that the different inlays aren't all carved from the same thing, but rather almost like mosaics built out of different forms of stone and material. And as you get closer, you can feel this tugging at you, this pulling, this force
Towards
the doorway ahead of you, also wreathed in sand.
Do you feel that?
Do they feel that?
Yeah.
It's got a gravity.
I don't like this. This feels weird.
It's pulling us towards it. Maybe that's where we're supposed to go. Or maybe I'm supposed to jump off the bridge.
Stop trying to jump off the bridge, Cleave.
I will. I'll stop trying to jump off the bridge.
Let's move forward and
I just
see
feel
where
like
it takes us.
it couldn't crush me the way it would with most people.
I think we can take whatever's in there. If it's another transformation elemental, it stands no chance against the three of us.
Lead the way.
Gladly.
As you
I
start
follow behind him.
walking through, there's this light flickering of light coming from the other end, and as you look forward, you can see now where this changing of shape is occurring. And as you can now tell, there's this form before you, smaller and much more human in nature than what you'd previously seen. And you can see where at its head there is what looks almost like an earthen golem, pressing features into it as though molding clay and forming its own face. And as you start to be able to see just smaller features of it, you can see where it turns over and just slams this glass beside it, and water begins pouring out from it.
I'm gonna point my whip towards it, and I'm gonna speak to it and say, "Who are you?"
Okay. And with that, having now spoken to it, it looks up your way and just starts sprinting off northward.
What is this?
Oh, great. Another transformation elemental.
It's running running away. Okay. It's the same one?
Hard to say.
Oh, Arlyn got magically.
Oh, whoops. Ignore that guy. Don't worry about him. He's dead. No, I'm just fine.
Thanks.
Hilarious. Before you, there is this tall, almost hourglass type fixture, which you can tell now is shattered at two sides, just kind of glass scattered about, and there is this small pooling of water at the base of it.
I'm gonna give chase.
Okay. Then, trucking it eastward, following its path, you start catching up just fast enough to watch it start turning a separate bend.
As they're doing that, I'm bonus action turning into a direwolf and giving chase, doing a dash. 100
Okay.
feet.
Can I get on you?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna get on him.
Can jump on.
Okay. Fantastic. Then, as you guys now each
And he weighs
going
super nothing to me
one
right
after the next, yeah,
Both
actually. It would take you a second given the transformation. You guys watch as there is this
It's a
light
bonus
kind
action
of
to transform. Just saying.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's a good point. You guys start running up on it, and as you start to near it, it does start changing forms again and starts to almost mold into the ground below you. As you can see, it's almost like it's melting, despite being earth. And now, following towards where it's at, Cleave and Calagon being exceptionally close, you can see now where it's running up these stairs, up to this blackened slime, almost, of a doorway. And right as you catch up to it, you can see it starts reaching its hand out on one end, but you are able to catch right up to it as it does so. Calagon alone, I would say, because Cleave, it would require your dashing. Calagon, you would probably have time to do something in this time if you would like.
It's running up to a door that has black slime coming out of it, is what you said?
It very much just looks like inky tendrils just wreathing it on both sides. And you can see them almost moving and like flicking outward and just...
Okay. In what form is it in right now? Earth, is it?
Earth.
Okay. I'm gonna try to throw the sword at it. I want to try to hit it kind of... I want to try to hit it like on its foot. As weird as that sounds.
Okay, yeah, roll the hit by all means. This is going to be a ranged attack, which isn't technically part of the sword's usual action, so that is going to be an improvised weapon of sorts.
Okay.
So you won't be proficient in that way.
If I can, I'd like to try to hit it with my bow as well.
Let's see,
You
what
would
is
still
the,
be around the corner by the time they reach it because of the direwolf speed. So it would take you just a little bit longer to actually reach
it's
where their
-1
speed
then.
would be significantly
So 17.
higher in that moment. 17. Yeah. That definitely still hits right now. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. The idea, though, is to make it immovable, so it stops moving towards the door.
Okay.
So I
yeah,
hit it
roll
on
your
its
damage.
foot. All right. It's 1d8. -1. 2.
2? Okay. Then
1d8
as you
minus
kind of
1, right?
spin it out towards it, you and catching it by the heel for a brief moment, there is this second where you think, okay, I might be able to catch it, and freezing it in place for the first time, you can see where its heel just kind of drags through it, almost accepting the additional pain as it kind of tears this small rock that just starts to roll right down that stairwell, and it presses its entire form against this mass of goo. And you can see where the goo just starts to wrap it, and it's almost like it's consuming the elemental as it pulls it. And slowly you can watch as these tendrils opening up seem to give way to a room behind it. As it now seemingly vanishes out of sight for just a moment.
I'm gonna walk up and grab my sword, or hop off him, walk up to the sword, grab it. Shall we proceed?
Did it go through that?
Yeah. It looks to be another entryway to Lord knows where.
Why?
What is this room that we're in?
Perhaps there's a way to get through it without. I'm going to.
I'm pointing up towards.
I'm going to
these
touch the goo and see what happens.
Okay.
Any places we ran towards.
Going forward. You reach a hand out. And as you press your hand to it, you can feel that your hand starts pulling in just slightly. And over time, it starts to sink into it. And you can feel now two things. There seem to be two different interfering textures, where one of them is smooth. And as you kind of feel around, behind that there's a much more jagged, almost kind of just rough feeling grate, if you will, that almost feels like the entryway to like a fence of some sort of gate. And as you now start to hold onto it, you can feel this slight pull on your arm. And almost all at once, these tendrils just lash out.
I jump up forward.
And all start grabbing around Rodrick's head and arms, back, legs, and that's where we'll pick up next week.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
What is this room we're in, though?
Craziness.
We
Chris
just
always
ran
makes
through
the
it.
Wildest, like,
It looks like tombs or like maybe a coffin or something. And some,
No.
We
I
need
love
to.
Getting
Golly.
to have fun throwing some random nonsense at you
It's
guys.
so random.
Yeah, there are
man.
quite a few things going on around you still that you guys clearly just sprinted past.
Yeah, there's some rooms there.
You said it took additional damage getting out of the sword, though?
It took some damage trying to just like pull itself
Pull it
off
out.
that light heal,
Okay.
but nothing crazy clearly.
I didn't know what to do. I was trying to stop it from going through. That was my only idea. I didn't want to. I mean, I couldn't. Even if I tried to kill that thing, it would have changed into another elemental and went through. So I tried.
I love it.
Always
I
got to
love
end
it.
on a cliffhanger.
I'm
I'm
curious
always so
how your
excited to see how you guys
conversation is
run.
going to go.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
If I would have hit it with my
too.
longbow, I would have been able to slow it with the longbow.
That'd been huge.
So
Yeah.
Are
Unfortunately,
you
as I
both-
said, it was using a dash action, so their method was like the only way in which that's gonna work, and that was fantastic. That was great to get an action
Awesome.
in. So well played, guys.
Better have
That was
a limp
great.
when we see
Yeah,
you
that
next.
being said, we're definitely gonna get to see some new and exciting features next week, and
Crazy Hail Mary.
see what happens in this further stretch now within the lower levels of the Bastion.
Yeah, but
I guess you guys
I'm glad we long
can very
rested.
clearly see that
Right.
there is still something beyond this point, but it's hard to tell exactly what's going beyond this gate, if you will. But let's go ahead and hop into the most important part of the stream.
Also, if it wasn't clear, I definitely picked up the rock mask again. I had dropped it at some point. I just want to make that known. During a whole
Sitting
long
back
rest, I
there.
definitely picked it up. It's-
Nice. Cool.
All right.
All right. Which commandment are we on this week?
7? Are we as far as
Is
7?
it 6 or 7?
Wow.
I think it's 6, right?
Because
The last one was shall not murder.
I got it pulled up here. Let's see.
Right?
Yeah, we did do shall not murder.
And that's the 5th one, right? Or am I?
no, fifth one
Yeah, that was 6.
Six
Because
is you
5th
shall
was
not murder.
honor
Okay.
your father
is
and
honor
mother.
your father and mother.
Okay,
So do
six.
not murder 6. So
Yep,
now we're on
so
7th,
7, 8,
which
10.
is you shall not commit adultery.
Man, this is a great as like, you know, Christians who have the benefit of the New Testament. There's so many great insights that we have into this one that they didn't have when this law was created, right? When this law was given to the Israelites.
This is true.
And like the obvious one is like where Jesus did the same thing that he had done with murder, right? Where we mentioned, if you even hate your brother, then you've murdered him in your heart. This one also levels up the level of personal accountability. And it says, if you even look at a woman in lust, then you have committed adultery, right? Like adultery is a crazy concept when you look at just like what it. First of all, I want to tie it back. Sorry, I don't want to take over the whole thing. So I'll take a pause because you guys could easily tackle some of this. The part I want to touch on is the one I keep tying us to, which is the connection from you start at love God and at love people, and they all still tie back to love God, right? So when Jesus says another one is like it, he says the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God, right? Another is like it to love your neighbor. That's because the reflection of how you love the Lord is acted out by loving your neighbors, right?
Yeah.
So we're pretty deep into love your neighbor territory with this one, obviously, right? This is like if your
For sure.
friend's wife, right? Like to commit adultery, like right to a brother, and commit that sin against him, against her, against yourself, and against God, right? It all still ties back to committing a sin against God. And so I just want to touch on the fact that marriage is the reflection of our relationship with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
That is what we are. We are in.
Totally.
At the end of the day, the church is in a marriage relationship with Jesus. So to commit adultery is a direct reflection on the destruction of the relationship that we have with Him.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I wanted.
Yeah, I think
was
it's
really
mainly
good.
it's mainly associated with marriage, which I think is not something that should be really focused on, because it's pretty much God has a design for us, and any way that we go against that design sexually, whether single or married, it's going back to what you said. It's being faithful to Him, and this one seems cut and dry, but I feel like we could talk about this one for
This one could go on
for like 30 minutes.
Easily.
But yeah, committing adultery, like I said, usually associated with marriage, but it applies to anybody. It applies to anybody that's, committed their life to Christ. But yeah, you pretty much touched on a pretty awesome point, and I love that you're tying all these in.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I actually have a question, so that we can kind of debate, I guess, on the question. So, Jesus came, and he came talking about how he came to fulfill the law, not to abolish the law. And in that, he also turned a mirror to the people of the time, the Israelites of the time, showing them how the law is more of a mirror for you to see how you cannot attain the actual law, which is why we need the mercy of God and the grace that He bestowed upon us by sacrificing His Son for us to be able to receive salvation.
Yeah.
So we're all guilty of
Every one of
pretty
these.
much every single one of these.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you believe in when He said, even if you look towards a woman with a lustful eye, do you believe that man is capable of lusting after his wife in a unholy way or an ungodly way?
That's
Yes.
interesting. Okay.
I think there is.
Capable for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could get into some, off the top of my head, very dark territory that I probably won't jump into. But yeah, I think you can, to put it simply, you could.
It's a family show. So
Yeah.
we gotta kind of keep it.
Do you think it's almost like a demeaning of sorts? Of,
Perfect example.
It's intention.
I think
it really is
I
intention
think
as well.
When you lust for the degradation of your wife.
I would say, you'd have to be more specific in that, because my answer would be contrary to theirs in that I don't believe so.
Interesting.
I believe that
This is why I knew it was going to be a good
because
question. Because
it is that desire, and more specifically, typically the breakdown is, the translation is with lustful intent. So that is the general desire and intent towards that.
Yeah.
With that being said, that should be a bare minimum in a marriage. Now, obviously, outside of marriage, that's a different story. But within marriage, within a godly marriage, I should say, especially, that is what you want. That should always be there. The other things that can come with that, especially in an unhealthy, ungodly marriage or relationship, those are other things that I would say are separate sins, such as violence, such as, man stealing, such as, all of these things that do...
Even as simple as just dishonoring.
Right, exactly. They do take away in different forms. But I would say as far as the lust portion, it is a sexual desire for the person that you love, that you have not only made a pact before God and all those you love, but also with them to offer yourself up to them for the rest of your life. And so I'd say as far as the desire, as
So
far
I guess
as
maybe it's
the
not
act,
adultery in that moment, but there's still ways with. Okay, so I guess where I was coming
It's a
at
slippery
is
slope.
lust. The concept of lust. Maybe I was broadening it too much, right? I'm broadening it to the selfish desire for something that you see as a gain for yourself, like something that you would enjoy, something that you like. And if it dishonors her, to me, that's still like
that is a sin in its own right.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
a dishonor of the marriage covenant, which is kind of still falls into the same category. But you're right; it's not exactly the same thing.
So there are two. Sorry, there are two scriptures in the New Testament that always shine a light on things of this variety in my mind, and one of them is Paul talking about how people will eat foods offered up to idols and different things. But it's interesting where in both these contexts, they're kind of the two different sides of a coin, where it says if you know the right thing to do and you don't do it, it's sin.
Sure.
Likewise, if you do something and you have any doubt in your heart and you're doing it in a way that you know that it could feasibly be a sin, then it is sin. Because if you have that doubt, then you are acting, as it says in, Romans 2, where it says that in the end, in the final judgment, that your own conscience will bear witness to your what's the phrasing? I always love it's the duality of word, that wordplay. Your conscience will bear witness to either let me read it verbatim.
Yeah, I could probably find it. Let me see.
Romans 2. Let me do ESV. We do not have the New King Malfurion version here, unfortunately, for me to read off. To either accuse or excuse you in the day of judgment.
Oh, yes.
To either accuse or excuse. So your own conscience helps to determine sin. Because the Bible makes it very, very clear that Jesus will judge us based on our own hearts. And so two people can do the exact same action and yet have completely different intentions. That's why you can have somebody in a car accident and be charged with involuntary vehicular manslaughter, and yet they not be a murderer.
Yeah. That's a good comparison.
So looking deeper, for example, into various definitions of the particular word lust, right? I'm seeing a lot of lack of control and uncontrolled objectifying of a person, right? I mean, it says, even here, it says, while desire can be a natural and healthy emotion, lust is often associated with negative connotations due to its intensity, lack of control, and potential for objectification or harm. Right? Whereas we know one of the fruits of the spirit is self-control.
Yeah, for sure.
And as well as the whole purpose of loving your wife, as Jesus loves the church, and would never objectify or view God's people in that form with that intent and that harm. And therefore I feel like it's, like we said back to the beginning, it's a direct reflection of how a man should treat his wife and vice versa, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so do I think it's possible for a man to lust after his wife in an unholy manner? I think so.
That's fair.
But it comes down to the heart and the
Right.
intention
Yeah.
of your actions. Because, again, lust and desire can seem like the same thing
Yeah.
with the wrong intention.
For sure.
Right?
Right.
And
For
and
sure,
I
for
think
sure.
that's really important, is the heart, is the intention of your approach to, I mean, the most beautiful gift that God could have given you, right? Is that partner that helps you through life, you know, and that you both grow to look to God together, you know? And so, yeah, I think it's in the words.
Yeah.
It's like
and
the
there's
little
also between like
details,
translation and trying to figure out like,
right?
okay, what is the exact, what were they using in
it's
that
in
time?
the little
What's-
details, correct.
But yeah, no, I'd say largely, you know, it all boils down to your heart, right? I think that
Correct.
seems to be
Correct.
the general consensus.
Totally.
Is just like, hey, listen,
100%.
do all that you do in love.
Yeah.
Right? It's really that simple. Do all that you do in love. Love God, love people. We've said it repeatedly throughout, especially this kind of string of divine inspirations of this pathway through the Ten Commandments. But it's always as simple as like starting with God and then looking onto God's love and how that outpouring of love hits you and how you can pour that back out on your brothers around you. Because that's everything. That's what we're here for.
Marriage, at the end of the day, is meant to be a selfless act,
For sure.
just as Jesus selflessly died for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
I think that's a good stamp on this
Yeah,
commandment.
I'd say so. Well, I guess with that being said, we love you guys. Amen. See you next week, and God bless.
Wait, do we?
Oh,
Next week?
see
Hold
you
on, we
the
have a
week
final
after
announcement.
next,
Okay.
and God bless. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
there will be a lot going on, as admittedly I'm trying to build like an entire house right now, and things have been
And his child comes like next month.
insane. So, through a series of exciting adventures and less than exciting adventures, we will be taking a quick break next week, so as to, of course, further the suspense of what's going on with
Right.
Arlyn up top, what's going on with Rodrick getting absorbed by an ooze door down below. But we will be, of course,
real
right back
cliffhanger,
to it the following week. Hopefully, God willing, should all things align just right. But we will see you back here, hopefully, in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And not quite next week.
Gonna help him build his house.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. So as we continue building journeys together, we will now build a house in which hopefully we can have some of these grand
Yes.
adventures.
Yeah,
Love you
amazing.
guys. See you back here in 2 weeks.
See you guys.